Good evening, good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the dinner table. Go ahead and invite some more family members and friends, my brothers and sisters. Uh, Not only invite your family member and friend, but if you know someone that's really needs to get some of the good food for the soul, go ahead and invite them. And if we have some guests, if you don't mind, move over or scoot over a little bit and let our guests come in and get some of this good food for the soul. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationships from a biblical point of view. And when I say a biblical point of view, I strongly believe in the relationship between that of a man and a woman as outlined in the book of Genesis. God created Adam, he created Eve, and he had a relationship with both the man and woman. That's the type of relationship I strongly believe in. If you believe in any other type of relationship, you have what is called free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. But if you look at this particular broadcast, and sit at the dinner table and share some of the good food for the soul, I was just letting you know where I come from. Now, if you believe in another type of relationship, God gave you a free will, you do what you choose to do, but I stand on the position of the book of Genesis, okay? I'm on two different broadcasts as I speak to you today, my brothers and sisters and guests. I'm on the tube and I'm on the book. If you're on the book, I may make some comment to those that are on the tube. You may not see their name in the comments, but I will call their name and comment, okay? And vice versa. Those of you that are on the tube, I may make some comments to those that are on the book. You will not see their name or comment, but I will call their name and comment because we're all brothers and sisters here at the dinner table, right? And it's family time. And if you have any comments or questions at the dinner table, by all means, put it in the little chat box and I'll answer your question or I'll address your comments, okay? With that said, let's look at the menu for tonight at the dinner table. And what's on the menu for tonight is you're in a relationship with a man or woman, but nobody knows about you. Again, this is what we are going to expound on tonight. You're in a relationship with a man or woman, but no one knows about you. Now, my question, how long have you thought, believed, or called yourself in a serious relationship with a man, sister, or a woman, brother, but it is so secretive that nobody knows that you even exist? And that's what we're going to talk about at the dinner table. But let's get into this appetizer first before we get into the dinner table. How you doing, Sister Allen? Welcome to the dinner table. Now let's go to this little appetizer before we get into the course, okay? As it is written in the book of Matthew 10:33 through 35. Again, that's Matthew 10:33 through 35, Matthew 10:33 through 35. Jesus is doing the talking. Jesus said, but whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. I'm glad to see you too, Sister Allen. Now, even Jesus wants to be acknowledged, my brother and sister. Jesus does not want to be hid. Understand? Jesus don't want to be hid because if Jesus be hid, he's going to deny you. Now we're going to get into the relationship of that between a man and a woman. How you doing, Sister Flo? Welcome to the dinner table. Are you, my brother, or are you, my sister, in a so-called relationship with a man, sister, or a woman, brother, and he or she doesn't want anyone or nobody to know about your relationship to the point that he or she will say something like, this is between you and I don't like my business being out there, and I want a private relationship, or I want my business to be my business, and I don't need you telling nobody about our business as far as the relationship go, or no one need to know because I'm private. Now, my brother and sister, if you are with an individual and that individual say anything to you like what I just stated, You know, I'm a private person. This is another key thing when people be talking. I'm a private person. How can you build a relationship and it's private? But there are some people that are going to try to pull the wool over your eye, my brother and sister. The question is, why does that man or woman convey to you or tell you that our relationship is private, but you live in a public life? How is your relationship private? Now, there's a reason why a man and a woman does not know that you and him or her are having a so-called relationship. Now, you may be one of these type of people, my brother and sister, that you don't mind if anyone know that you are in a relationship with a man or a woman. Because the question is that person ashamed of you? Is that person ashamed of you? That's one thing. Is that person ashamed of you? If that person is not ashamed of you, why is he or she keeping you a secret? Or is that man or woman dealing with somebody else and do not want the knowledge of you coming to pass? So there are different reasons why a man and woman don't want nobody to know about you. And the bottom line, to tell you the truth, I'm going to say this a little bit, but I'll get into it later. You're not the one. I hate, I'm not going to beat around the bush. You're basically not the one. You are just someone, my brother and sister, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not the one when someone want to keep you private. So let's go into this. I am going to come from a position that this man or this woman convince you that you're in a relationship. So the man and woman may say, even I love you. You are mine and I'm yours, but yet he or she hides you. It's a reason why a person hides you. Don't go for the crap, it's private. Now, number one, do you know, and I'm talking to some of you single brothers and sisters, do you know, let me ask you a question right here and right now. Do you know where that person live, or do you have an idea where that person live? Some of you are in a relationship with someone and you never been to his or her residence. You could have been in a person's life for a whole lot. You got an idea where he or she stay at, but you never went to the residence. But he or she stated that you're in a relationship. But he or she have liberty to come where you at any time. Or if you do know where that man and woman live at, you have to get permission. You have to get prior permission to go by his or her place. That's right. You have to get permission, but he or she doesn't have to have a prior pass to come on your house. And then there's some of you brothers and sisters, and I'm talking about some of you single brothers and sisters. A lot of you playing yourself. Some of you brothers and sisters, you have given a man, sister, or brother, or woman the key to your residence, but you don't have a key to his or her residence. This is just how backwards some of these relationships can get. And it's kind of funny to me. Some of these relationships is so one-sided, and these type of individual, my brother and sister, these are narcissist type of individuals that you trying to please and you trying to do everything, you jumping through all the hoops, but that man, sister, or that woman, brother have everything in his or her favor because you're not the one. And I know the truth can hurt because the truth can hurt, but I'm trying to get you, my brother and sister, to realize that you need to go on with your life. Another question I need to ask you, my brother and sister, have you ever been introduced to his or her family member or friends, but he or she said that you're in a relationship? Have you ever been introduced to any of his or her family or friends, but you have introduced him or her to your family and friends? That man or woman, they go do things with their family and friends, and he or she never invites you along. A lot of those people don't even know about you, my brothers and sisters. The question is why? But here she could come back and say what kind of good time here she had, and they were with their friends and stuff, and they had a good time. But here she never invite you nowhere. You ain't met nobody. That's a red flag. If a man or woman state that he or she is in a relationship with you, why have you not been introduced to his circle or her circle? That is a red flag. Number 3, when you go out on dates, the dates are so strategically and carefully planned that you go to a place. It might be nice, but you go to a place where you don't know nobody, and he or she tell you where you're going. You could be in the same city, but you have to go out of town all the time. You won't even go nowhere local. So let me tell you this. If you're in a relationship, quote unquote, with someone, my brother and sister, and you can't go nowhere local with the person in your same city, that tells you a lot. That tells you that he or she do not want nobody to recognize that you are together for a particular reason. That person is, like I said, I hinted, he or she is ashamed of you, or he or she seeing someone else to go all out of his or her way so that no one would know anything about you. Another question that I need to ask you: do you go out anywhere, period? Or does he or she just come to your place, or you go to his or her place? You don't go nowhere. And if you do go somewhere to go eat, you go through the drive-through window. You never go into no establishment just to eat a meal together. If you look at a movie, it's going to be Netflix and chill all the time, or Hulu, or whatever channel. You're not even going to public to a movie. You don't do nothing public. But he or she so lovey-dovey with you in a private setting. Another question that I need to ask you, brothers and sisters: if you and that person are out in public, he or she will take a picture. But he or she will take a picture. You the one who's taking the picture of him or her, but they don't want you on the picture with them. Even if they have people, because people could be walking by and people don't mind getting your cell phone or whatever and taking a picture of you. But he or she will never take a picture with you. But you see him and her on social media and everything taking picture with everyone else. But he or she said that he or she loves you, right? That man or woman say he or she love you, and that man and woman say that you all in a relationship. But there's nobody business but ours. Another thing I need to put out there in front of some of you single brothers and sisters: does the person, we're going to talk about a cell phone, that cell phone going to tell you a lot, my brother and sister, because most men and women have their cell phone, and they have their cell phone real close by. Have you ever noticed, my brother and sister, when an incoming call come in? Let me give you an example. An incoming call comes in, and that man and woman is sitting by you. Have you ever noticed that a lot of times the phone be like this? Have you ever noticed that? The phone be like this on the table, whatever surface is on. All the time. Like one of those old-fashioned phones that you could hang up, or what you got in your house. It always be like this. Have you noticed when the person does, if he or she sense that the phone is vibrating or something like that, they will pick it up. And let's say that you're sitting on the right-hand side. If you're sitting on the right-hand side, the person will pick up the phone and tilt it to the left, so you won't see who calling. Or if you on the left-hand side, they'll tilt it to the right. Have you ever noticed, we're talking about cell phones now, have you ever noticed that when you call that man or woman, They take their sweet little time responding to you. And have you ever noticed when he or she does answer the phone or text, they do it immediately, right in your face? Sometimes they take up most of their time with that other person on the other side than you. Have you ever noticed little things like that? That's telling you something. Have you ever noticed this, my brother, my sister? You call yourself in a relationship, a serious relationship with this person. But have you ever noticed that we talk about the cell phone? Have you ever noticed that if the person even go to the restroom, he or she would take the cell phone to the phone, I mean to the bathroom like they are on an emergency wait, like they're a doctor or something like that. Have you ever noticed they do that? Have you ever known? That's telling you something, my brother and sister. You are a well kept secret for a certain reason. Another question I need to ask you, brothers and sisters: does the person ghost you quite a bit? What is ghosting? Ghosting is when a man, I'm going to paraphrase this, okay? Ghosting is when a person just disappear on you. They just disappear on you. No warning. No warning whatsoever. Have you ever noticed that you very accessible to a man or a woman? Brother, have you ever know that you real accessible to a woman? Sister, have you ever know that you real accessible to a man? Whereas if he or she calls you, you respond very quickly. You will pick up the phone, or if he or she texts you, you will reply very quickly. But have you ever noticed this? When you call him or her, it goes to their voicemail majority of the time. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever noticed that when you text him or her, have you ever noticed that you may get a text 12 hours later, or you may get a text the next day or days later? And that man or that woman would say something if you have called him or her, and he or she seen your number on the cell phone, right? And they will ask you a unsensible question like, "Did you call me?" Why would they ask you, "Did you call me?" They seen your number. Or they'll say something like this if they texting you, "I just noticed your text." But when you have witnessed when he or she is responding to other people, they do it with the quickness, right? But not with you. All this come down to, my brother and sister, is this. Basically, you are in a relationship by yourself. You have a lot of hope for this man or woman. You have dreamed of a future with this man and woman, but you are not the one. A lot of you brothers and sisters that are in this position, you are so tied to a man and a woman. They gaslighted you early in the relationship. They bamboozled you early in the relationship. They got you real good. And a lot of times, how a lot of you brothers and sisters have gotten uh hooked in a relationship like this, they did what is called love bombing. They love bombed you at the beginning of the relationship. They probably gave you a whole lot of attention at the beginning of the relationship. They were so attentive. They was there and everything. You could not believe what you were witnessing. And it was so good to be true. And it was too good to be true. Because a lot of time, a man or a woman, when they love bomb you at the beginning of the relationship, you have to be very, very cautious. Very, very cautious. Because they are trying to hook you. It's just like a drug. That's what they're trying to do. They are hitting you, and that dopamine in your body is kicking in high gear. So you can't believe someone is just that, how should I say it? So into you. So what happened? That man and woman, they hook you. However they hook you, you get hooked. And when they know they got you hooked, that's when you're going to see the mask coming down. That's when you're going to see it. Have you noticed this, my brother and sister, that you would invite that man, sister, or brother, that woman to be around your family and friends? Have you ever noticed this? And he or she, if he or she comes, your family member and friend might actually like this person. They might actually like the person. And he or she might come around. But guess what? When he or she has a function with his or her family member and friend, he or she never invites you. Have you ever noticed that? Why does he or she not invite you? It's going to be basically three reasons. He or she is ashamed of you. You're not the one. And you are just a afterthought. You are somebody to fill in his or her time. You are a filler. Some of the points that I just made this evening at the dinner table, my brother and sister, if this resonate in you, if you're currently in a relationship like this, I know that it could be hard for you to pull away from a relationship like that, because that dopamine in your body, it's just kicking into high gear. It's a chemical in you, and you getting your fix. It's like how some people they are, let's say a person on cocaine. What do they normally do when they be exposed to cocaine? Normally sometimes they will get a little bit of cocaine because they think they can handle it, right? This is just an example. They think they can handle it. So they get that initial high. And in their mind, they thinking, I don't see how people can get hooked to this stuff. I can do it one time. I can experience this temporary hit and nothing happened to me. I don't see why people can't control it. But then they do it again. And they will never get to that initial high. They'll be chasing that initial high. So what they are doing, unbeknown to themselves, they are getting hooked on a substance that can destroy them. So my brother and sister, that man or woman is like cocaine to you. They gave you the initial hit by love bombing you. They praising you. They giving you all this attention, and you want it because you might not. It's a possibility that you have never experienced nothing like that before, and you're looking at why would somebody really focus on me this way? Because you're being set up, my brothers and sisters. You're being actually set up. So what I need to tell you this, my brother and sister, if it's too good to be true, normally it is. You are now hooked. How do you get out of a situation like this, my brother and sister? How do you get out? You can't get out on your own. Because if you try to get out on your own, you still going to leave some doors open and hoping that that man and woman see how good you are and come back. There are a lot of you brothers and sisters, you allow a woman to come in and out of your life. Some of you sisters, you allow a man to come in and out of your life, and vice versa, as I say. And some of you brothers let me back up. Some of you brothers, you have a woman to come in and out of your life, and some of you sisters have a man to come in and out of your life. They got you down pat. They can go be with somebody else. They can go live with someone else, and they still coming to you because they know you are receptive to them. How you doing, Sister Weaver? Welcome to the dinner table. They know you so receptive. That's why they keep doing you like that. They using you and using you and using you. But they don't want you. They want what you have. They don't want you. They don't mind if other people that they running after, they don't mind the public knowing about them, but they got a problem with the public knowing about you. You are a well-kept secret. So what I'm telling you, my brother and sister, don't ever be a secret to a man or a woman. You deserve better than that, to be a secret. And if a man and woman have a secret to life, my brother and sister, you need to run away from them. If you north, if he or she is north, run south. If he or she west, run east. Don't deal with a man or woman that's supposed to be in a relationship with you. And this primarily for my single brother and sister, but he or she is so secretive. There's a reason why he or she is so secretive. But more than likely, a person that is very secretive, he or she wants you to be transparent. They want to know all about you. You know why they want to know all about you? So he or she can know how to manipulate you. That's why they want to be able to manipulate you. And what you're going to do without you knowing it, you're going to put that man or woman on a pedestal, which means you're going to idolize that man or woman. And you hooked. Some of you brothers and sisters, the man and woman have got married to somebody else. The man and woman are in a relationship with someone else. And you still hoping that he or she see you for who you are. But when something bad go on in a relationship with that man or woman that's married to someone else or in a relationship with someone else, that's when they're gonna piggyback and come to you. And you're gonna be so over thrilled to welcome him or her back in. And you know about it. But one of the most painful part, my brother and sister, you're in a relationship with someone and going back to the thing called ghosting. That man or woman that ghosts you so much, you don't know when they're gonna ghost you. You can't even plan nothing with him or her. If you plan something with him or her, you could know it. Like, say for example, if the weekend come up and you want to go to a movie, dinner in a movie, something like that, you could tell that man or woman, let's go to dinner movie, and he or she could probably actually agree with you. But when it comes, they'll no show. You call, no show. You text, no response. These type of individuals, they are just want to use you, my brother and sister. That's all they want to do. So what you need to do, my brother and sister, you need to break it. The only way you're going to break this vicious cycle is through God's Son, Jesus Christ. You need help. Before you go talking to a counselor, you need help. Jesus is the only one that could break that shackle on your mind and your heart and your will. He's the only one that could do it. And once you do that with Jesus, go ahead, my brother and sister, and cry that tear. Brothers, you can go ahead and cry a tear. Don't consider yourself a fool. That was a song got some years ago. It takes a fool to learn that love don't love no one. And there was also a song that was out, and you all have heard it before, by the main ingredients, I believe. Everybody plays a fool sometime. No exception to the rule. So, but my brother and sister, I don't want you to consider yourself a fool. You just made a bad decision. You open your heart up to the wrong man or woman, and you was got. You're not the first one, and you will not be the last one. But you can recover. When you pull yourself away from these narcissist type of individual, my brother and sister, don't look at other individuals like the one that you dealt with in the past. So, sister, if you had a bad relationship with a narcissist type of man, don't put all men in a category so they all like that. And some of you brothers, the same thing. If you ran into a narcissist type of woman, don't put all women in the same category as this person that did not want nobody to know about you. Let me tell you, my brother and sister, if a man and woman is really serious about you, want to commit to you and move towards the marriage part with you, a man and woman that's serious about you will not hide you. He or she will not hide you. He or she do not mind he or she does not mind who know about your relationship. If a man really loves a woman, he wants the world to know. If a woman really loves a man, she wants the world to know. A case in point, that's how Boaz did. If any of you familiar with the story of Ruth and Boaz, before Boaz had to do a little leg work before he got married to Ruth. He had to go down to the city and he had to handle something with it was this next of kinsman law. So he had to discuss this with this certain man, and this certain man told him he could go ahead and marry Ruth. What did Boaz do? Boaz told everyone that he was going to marry Ruth. Every man should not hide the woman of his life. Every woman should not hide the man in his life. If you notice, when I do this dinner at the dinner table, fixing food for you all, my brothers and sisters, if you notice, you always see that picture up there basically, right? The picture that you're looking at, that's a picture of my wife. That's Tequessa. For those of you that do not know her, if you can't say Tequessa, because a lot of brothers and sisters mess up her name, just call her Cinderella because the shoe fit. And if you call her Cinderella, she will respond to you. She have heard people out in the public call her Cinderella. Why do people call her Cinderella in public? Because they hear me calling her Cinderella. That's why they call her. I'm not ashamed to let anyone know about my wife. I'm not ashamed. Now, even, let me tell you this. If I decided to get a side chick, I'm not planning on getting no side chick. So some of you don't be saying, Tony finna get him a side chick. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you. If I decide to get a side chick, the side chick would definitely know about her. And you know what? The side chick, if she want to listen to me say something negative about my wife, she don't never hear me say nothing negative about my wife. She don't hear it. If it's something going on between me and my wife and I got a side chick, but basically if I got a side chick, she can't be like real public like Cinderella. You know, Cinderella, she's public. That leads me to this. Some of you brothers and sisters, you're in a relationship with a man and woman that's in a relationship with someone else, okay? If you're in a relationship, my brother, with a woman, sister, if you're in a relationship with a man that's in a relationship with someone else, what position are you basically in? If you want to talk about rank, you're not in the number one position. You're in the number two, you possibly 3, 4, 5. But if you know a man is married, you need to take into account he's probably gonna his agenda more so his agenda is gonna be his wife and family first. He might try to fit you in the same thing, brother. The woman, her number one priority is her husband and family and friend, but she might squeeze you in sometime. So if you want to get into that type of relationship, my brother and sister, that's on you. Now, if you get into a relationship, sister, with a man that's married, if you want to play that game, you got to understand that he's not going to really want to be public with you. And the same thing, brothers, if a woman is in a relationship with another man, she really ain't don't want to be that public with you. I mean, wide open public. So if you decide to do it, don't be surprised if his family member and friend don't know you exist either. Because if a man is in a relationship or married to a woman, more than likely, I didn't say all the time, more than likely, he's not going to hardly take you around his family and friends if he's married. And a lot of times, women that are married, more than likely, she's not going to take you around her family and friends. If you all seen that Ray Charles movie, you know the Ray Charles movie that Jamie Foxx was in, there was this scene in the movie. You all need to go check it out. As you know, Ray Charles, he had some side women, right? Now, there's one particular woman that was his background singer. She had a child by Ray Charles, right? But let me tell you something. This woman, she got so into Ray Charles that she thought he was going to leave his wife. She called his house, and he told her, don't call there no more. She should have got a hint then. When she called his house, he had moved to LA and she was somewhere else. She came, she got a hotel room thinking that he was going to run over there to her. He didn't do it. He met with her on his time, not her time. And you know, he had to tell this woman something. This some chilling thing for a woman here or a man here, but real chilling, sister. You know what Ray Charles, Jamie Foxx, told this woman? He said, and I'm paraphrasing this, you know the rules. And you know, she was wondering what the rule was. The rule is, I'm not leaving B. Those are the rules. That was a rule that was not implied verbally, but he had to tell her. He said, you knew the rules. So why did he say you knew the rules? He said, you know the rule because you know I was married. You knew I was married when we got in a relationship. By the way, I'm going to talk more about that topic tomorrow, Lord willing, so you all come to the dinner table on that. If you have any questions or comments, my brother and sister, go ahead and put it down in the chat box. Say wait and make your comment or question. If not, I would like to tell you I enjoyed being here with you, my brothers and sisters. Tonight, thank you so much for coming to the dinner table. Remember that, believe that, say la vie, peace out. Okay, Miss Allen, I'll be on tomorrow, Lord willing, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when I'll be coming on tomorrow, Lord willing, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You all have a good night, okay? Peace out.